And the Lord remembered Sarah as he had said. And the Lord did to Sarah as he had spoken. And Sarah conceived and bore a son to Abraham in his old age, at the time of which God had spoken to him. And Abraham named his son, who had been born to him, whom Sarah had borne to him, Isaac. And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac when he was 8 days old, as God had commanded him. And Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born to him. And Sarah said, God has made joy for me. Whoever hears will rejoice over me. And she said, who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children? For I have borne a son to his old age. And the child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast on the day that Isaac was weaned. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, whom she had borne to Abraham, making merry. And Sarah said to Abraham, drive out this handmaid and her son, for the son of this handmaid shall not inherit with my son with Isaac. But the matter greatly displeased Abraham concerning his son. And God said to Abraham, be not displeased concerning the lad and concerning your handmaid. Whatever Sarah tells you, hearken to her voice, for in Isaac will be called your seed. But also the son of the handmaid I will make into a nation, because he is your seed. And Abraham arose early in the morning, and he took bread and a leather pouch of water, and he gave to Hagar. He placed on her shoulder and the child, and he sent her away. And she went and wandered in the desert of Beersheba. And the water was depleted from the leather pouch, and she cast the child under one of the bushes. And she went and sat down from afar, at about the distance of 2 bowshots, for she said, let me not see the child's death. And she sat from afar, and she raised her voice and wept. And God heard the lad's voice, and an angel of God called to Hagar from heaven and said to her, what is troubling you, Hagar? Fear not, for God has heard the lad's voice in the place where he is. Rise, pick up the lad, and grasp your hand upon him, for I shall make him into a great nation. And God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water, and she went and filled the pouch with water, and gave the lad to drink. And God was with the lad, and he grew, and he dwelt in the desert, and he became an archer. And he dwelt in the desert of Paran, and his mother took for him a wife from the land of Egypt. Now it came to pass at that time that Abimelech and Phicol, his generals, said to Abraham, saying, God is with you in all that you do. And now swear to me here by God that you will not lie to me or to my son or to my grandson, according to the kindness that I have done with you. You shall do with me, and with the land wherein you have sojourned. And Abraham said, I will swear. And Abraham contended with Abimelech about the well of water that the servants of Abimelech had forcibly seized. And Abimelech said, I do not know who did this thing, neither did you tell me, nor did I hear until today. And Abraham took flocks and cattle, and gave them to Abimelech, and they both formed a covenant. And Abraham placed 7 ewe lambs by themselves, and Abimelech said to Abraham, what are these 7 ewe lambs which you have placed by themselves? And he said, for these 7 ewe lambs you shall take from my hand, in order that it be to me for a witness that I dug this well. Therefore he named that place Beersheba, for there they both swore. And they formed a covenant in Beersheba, and Abimelech and Phicol his general arose, and they returned to the land of the Philistines. And he planted an Ishal in Beersheba, and he called there in the name of the Lord, the God of the world. And Abraham dwelt in the land of the Philistines for many days. Chapter 22. And it came to pass after these things that God tested Abraham, and he said to him, Abraham, and he said, Here I am. And he said, Please take your son, your only one, whom you love, yea, Isaac, and go away to the land of Moriah, and bring him up there for a burnt offering on one of the mountains of which I will tell you. And Abraham arose early in the morning, and he saddled his donkey, and he took his 2 young men with him, and Isaac his son. And he split wood for a burnt offering, and he arose and went to the place of which God had told him. On the 3rd day Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place from afar. And Abraham said to his young men, Stay here with the donkey, and I and the lad will go yonder, and we will prostrate ourselves and return to you. And Abraham took the wood for the burnt offering, and he placed upon his son Isaac, and he took into his hand the fire and the knife, and they both went together. And Isaac spoke to Abraham his father, and he said, My father? And he said, "Here I am, my son." And he said, "Here are the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering?" And Abraham said, "God will provide for himself the lamb for the burnt offering, my son." And they both went together. And they came to the place of which God had spoken to him. And Abraham built the altar there, and arranged the wood. And he bound Isaac his son, and placed him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched forth his hand, and took the knife, to slaughter his son. And an angel of God called to him from heaven, and said, "Abraham, Abraham." And he said, "Here I am." And he said, "Do not stretch forth your hand to the lad, nor do the slightest thing to him. For now I know that you are a God-fearing man, and you did not withhold your son, your only one, from me." And Abraham lifted up his eyes, and he saw, and lo, there was a ram, after it was caught in a tree by its horns. And Abraham went and took the ram, and offered it up as a burnt offering instead of his son. And Abraham named that place, "The Lord will see," as it is said to this day, "On the mountain the Lord will be seen." And an angel of the Lord called to Abraham a second time from heaven, and he said, "By myself have I sworn, says the Lord, that because you have done this thing, and you did not withhold your son, your only one, that I will surely bless you, and I will greatly multiply your seed as the stars of the heavens, and as the sand that is on the seashore. And your descendants will inherit the cities of their enemies. And through your children shall be blessed all the nations of the world, because you hearkened to my voice." And Abraham returned to his young men, and they arose and went together to Beersheba. And Abraham remained in Beersheba. And it came to pass after these matters that it was told to Abraham, saying, "Behold, Milcah, she also bore sons to Nahor your brother, Uz his firstborn, and Buz his brother, and Kemuel the father of Aram, and Kesed, and Hazo, and Pildash, and Yidlaph, and Bethuel. And Bethuel begot Rebekah. These 8 did Milcah bear to Nahor, Abraham's brother. And his concubine, whose name was Reumah, had also given birth to Tabah, and Gaham, and Tahash, and Maachah. Chapter 23. And the life of Sarah was 100 years and 20 years and 7 years, the years of the life of Sarah. And Sarah died in Kiriath Arba, which is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. And Abraham came to eulogize Sarah and to bewail her. And Abraham arose from before his dead, and he spoke to the sons of Heth, saying, "I am a stranger and an inhabitant with you. Give me burial property with you, so that I may bury my dead from before me." And the sons of Heth answered Abraham, saying to him, "Listen to us, my lord, you are a prince of God in our midst. In the choicest of our graves bury your dead. None of us will withhold his grave from you to bury your dead." And Abraham arose and prostrated himself to the people of the land, to the sons of Heth. And he spoke with them, saying, "If it is your will that I bury my dead from before me, listen to me and entreat for me to Ephron the son of Zohar, that he may give me the Machpelah, double cave, which belongs to him, which is at the end of his field. For a full price let him give it to me in your midst for burial property." Now Ephron was sitting in the midst of the sons of Heth. And Ephron the Hittite answered Abraham in the hearing of the sons of Heth, of all those who had come into the gate of his city, saying, "No, my lord, listen to me. I have given you the field, and the cave that is in it, I have given it to you. Before the eyes of the sons of my people I have given it to you. Bury your dead." And Abraham prostrated himself before the people of the land. And he spoke to Ephron in the hearing of the people of the land, saying, "But if only you would listen to me. I am giving the money for the field. Take from me, and I will bury my dead there." And Ephron replied to Abraham, saying to him, "My lord, listen to me. A land worth 400 shekels of silver, what is it between me and you? Bury your dead." And Abraham listened to Ephron. And Abraham weighed out to Ephron the silver that he had named in the hearing of the sons of Heth, 400 shekels of silver, accepted by the merchant. And so the field of Ephron, which was in Machpelah facing Mamre, was established as Abraham's possession, the field and the cave that was in it, and all the trees that were in the field, which were within its entire border around, to Abraham as a possession before the eyes of the sons of Heth, in the presence of all who had come within the gate of his city. And afterwards Abraham buried Sarah his wife in the cave of the field of Machpelah, facing Mamre, which is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. and the field and the cave within it were established to Abraham as burial property from the sons of Heth. Chapter 24. And Abraham was old, advanced in days, and the Lord had blessed Abraham with everything. And Abraham said to his servant, the elder of his house, who ruled over all that was his, "Please place your hand under my thigh, and I will adjure you by the Lord, the God of the heaven and the God of the earth, that you will not take a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites, in whose midst I dwell. But you shall go to my land and to my birthplace, and you shall take a wife for my son, for Isaac." And the servant said to him, "Perhaps the woman will not wish to go after me to this land. Shall I return your son to the land from which you came?" And Abraham said to him, "Beware, lest you return my son back there. The Lord God of the heavens, who took me from my father's house and from the land of my birth, and who spoke about me and who swore to me, saying, 'To your seed will I give this land,' he will send his angel before you, and you shall take a wife for my son from there. And if the woman will not wish to go after you, you will be absolved of this my oath, only do not return my son back there." And the servant placed his hand under the thigh of Abraham his master, and he swore to him concerning this matter. And the servant took 10 camels of his master's camels, and he went, and all the best of his master was in his hand. And he arose, and he went to Aram Naharaim, to the city of Nahor. And he made the camels kneel outside the city beside the well of water at eventide, at the time the maidens go out to draw water. And he said, "O Lord, the God of my master Abraham, please cause to happen to me today, and perform loving kindness with my master Abraham. Behold, I am standing by the water fountain, and the daughters of the people of the city are coming out to draw water."